Hello, how are you? I had such fun today. My daughter and I met at our favorite local nursery. This is a Gerber daisy, and it's got lots of blooms getting ready to open. I couldn't resist it. Now, Gerber daisies take a lot of sun and heavy feeding, so to try to keep it in bloom like that, it's going to be tough. But at least for now, it's worth a couple dollars it costs to buy it. So, hello, everybody. Is Grand here? That would be wonderful. And Marcia, I saw that today's your brother's birthday. That's so nice. My daughter Katie's birthday was yesterday. So, and hopefully I'll be seeing her a few weeks. The one that I was with today doesn't have a birthday till the end of October. But anyway, it is good to see you. So, hello, hello, hello. So, boy, have I been crazy busy. Oh, Gromit's not under there, and I didn't know why. Boy, have I been busy this week. Not only was it Easter, and Mark and I made an Easter meal. If my eyes look funny, I rubbed this one the other night, and it made it get an infection. It's like the little eyelid. It was during the night and I rubbed it and it hurt and I went, uh-oh, and sure enough. So sorry that my eyes are wonky tonight, but isn't this lovely? Right now, pollen is coming out all over the place. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how we do. We had been opening the windows late in the evening and putting a fan in and bringing in the cool air. So when we got ready to go to sleep, we could snuggle under the blankets. And so, but then we started waking up really congested and said, pollen's here, can't do that anymore. But aren't Gerberas gorgeous? I just love them. They had some orange ones. This is a pretty deep red, but they had some fuchsia ones. Yellow. It was just like a bowl of Skittles. But anyway, so how are all of you? Let me see. Grand is here. Hello, Alexis. Marcia, Polly, Dolores. Good to see you, sweetie. How is that brother-in-law, hon? We are keeping him close to our hearts because that was quite an accident. I know he's got a long road, but boy, is he a miracle walking. Well, almost walking. So, wow. Let's see. Jody is here. Okay. So today, after I got home from spending time with my daughter, it was cute. The nursery doesn't have out like all the begonias and the impatiens because we're still 3 weeks away from safe planting date. And so, we just bought a few things, some herbs and house plants and things like that. And, oh, I'm so excited. I got one of those fiddle leaf figs. That's the new house plant rage. But I can only afford the little one, and I shared one of them with my daughter. But he's making good progress. In a room off of ICU, breathing on his own. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, hi, Miss Polly. We went to Myers Nursery, Myers Greenhouse on Stratford Road, not too far, but before you get to Jonestown Road. How cool. I forget that you're right here. That's my favorite nursery. When I moved down here from Maryland, we lived in a Mennonite community, and they had so many nurseries, and I loved it. Yes, and so I was all sad thinking I'm leaving my nurseries to come here. Then I found Myers and went, I'm happy again. So I love it. I love a nursery where they grow plants because they love them. You can tell the difference. You can tell the difference in a nursery. It's just a moneymaker and a nursery where they love what they do. So I highly recommend anybody, if you're around Winston-Salem, go to Myers Nursery. So I'm so tickled, wore my mask, and it was hot and humid out there today. Polly will tell you it's been hot here lately. So, hi, Adele. How are you? So we are really happy to hear about Dolores's brother-in-law. Keep him in your thoughts because he had a horrible accident. And poor guy. And so he's got a long road, but he's here, thank goodness, you know. And wait till you see some pictures of some two choices. Dolores, we do what artist quilters do best. Someone's hurting, we make them something. And she did some beautiful embroideries for him, and I have the pictures to show you. Robin Boyd is here. Hello. Laura Rylander, I don't think I missed I don't think I said your name out loud. Kathleen Ziegler? Oh my gosh, look at all you peeps. I just love you guys. All right, so I sent a lot of patterns out, and I might have sent them out to some of you who aren't in the mood to do it, and that's okay too. I just thought I'd rather you have a pattern than not. Then today I sat down. The flowers for the gate. I looked all around. And of course, the first thing you think of is, oh, I'll put some poppies. But they're going to be, in their own right, a little difficult. To do a good poppy, you have to make it look translucent. And I thought, you know what? And then I thought of purple coneflower, which I love. And they're a sweet flower in front of a gate. And then I thought of their cousin. Hi, Cheryl. I thought of their cousin, which is the Rudbeckia, which kind of looks like a yellow version. So I'm going to, all of you who want patterns, I'm going to send you this. And then here are the purple coneflowers. And you'll notice the difference. The Rudbeckias have a very dark, almost black head, dark brown, almost black. And see, the shape is kind of like a grape. And then they have fewer petals, and the petals end in points. Here is a Rudbeckia leaf. That is different than a purple coneflower. So when you get this pattern, here is the purple coneflower leaf example that I made. And I put an arrow to remind you that it belongs down here with the purple coneflowers. But I wrote purple coneflowers. Then up here is Rudbeckia, or some people call them black-eyed daisies. So anyway, and so here are the coneflowers. They have a bigger cone in the center, and it's a different shape. It's more squat than, and also this is a Rudbeckia. That's a Rudbeckia bud, and that's different because when a coneflower comes out, it comes out with these little tubular kind of rolled up petals, and they look white until they're big enough to start opening up. So no, I gave you an example of what a baby purple coneflower looks like compared to a baby Rudbeckia. And I've written the colors on here, and I'll show you my colors lately. Now, these are not the patterns that have a center and the thing around it, and then a petal, and then a seam allowance around it. It's not blown apart because I wanted to give you as many variations as I could so that you can give your quilt a little bit more realism. So I'm going to try this with you. You know that if you do this, you're going to have to make these have a seam allowance so they can sit under the cone on the top. So be thinking when you do this, use a light box or put it up on a window with a paper over it so the sunlight will let you see the drawings underneath, and you can cut out different individual pieces, or you can cut out a kind of lump of fabric and then either use a fine line permanent pen. I had one here earlier. I put it away. Or you can use thread painting to differentiate in between all of the petals. But so you have an idea. The leaves are different. Notice this leaf compared to this. This leaf is for the Rudbeckia. This leaf is for the purple coneflower. Now, so I wrote colors on there just to kind of give you a general idea. But then what I did is I made you up a research sheet. And here is a gate idea that has the Rudbeckia or Black-Eyed Susans. Did I say black? I hope I said Black-Eyed Susan. Okay, so you've got the Rudbeckia or Black-Eyed Susans, which happen to be the state flower of Maryland. I used to live there. So I wanted to show you that. Then here is goldfinches love purple coneflowers because those seeds are in that cone. See those cones? Think of it as a miniature sunflower, and that cone is full of seeds. Then I have this picture that has a butterfly. So that way and that's a monarch butterfly, just so you'll know, and that way you can, or is it a yellow swallowtail? That might be a yellow swallowtail. I don't see any orange on it. So, but that way, if you want to put a bird in your picture or you want to put a butterfly, there's a couple little examples. This I put in because it's a quilt someone made, and I love the look, the relaxed look of their purple coneflowers. Yeah, they've done a little bit more. It's orange. It's a little orange for a monarch, but it's close. And, we can make butterflies whatever we want. It's our quilt. It's our world. So we pay for the fabric. It's ours. But I love how this person used paper with writing, fabric with writing on it, like a printed fabric. And then it looks like they used ink tints or watercolors and put a pink wash on it. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. Now, there are some purple coneflowers that are even darker purple. These are kind of pinky mauve-ish. They have like just a hint of purple in them. So you'll get one of these too. And that way you have a chance to really look at it. So the ones of you who got the pattern, here it is. And I was trying to think. First, I showed you that picture last week. And you know what? I don't think I brought it down here. Let me see. But it looked, when we were looking at ideas to do, it looked like a gate, but it wasn't. It was supposed to be a city skyline and done in stripes. So when I went to look at it, I said, you know what? I said, that's not going to look right. So what I decided to do is make my own pattern. And it would have been easy to use someone else's. So I don't see it right off the top of my head, but I'll show you the picture later on so you'll see. So what I did is, here it is, and all of the whites and off-whites, this is a gate, and I put a simple arched top on it. And then, oh, thank you, sweeties. And then what I did for interest is, this is the lightest of the whites. This is a little bit darker, and this is a little bit darker still. So it has some depth to it. The light would be because of the sun. Now, this is a pitiful sunshine. If you can do better, please do. When I was designing it, I designed one piece at a time, and I had a hard time seeing where, because this is 3 separate pieces to use the sunshine. I had a hard time figuring out, okay, if that ray was here, then where is it on the next piece? And oh my gosh, it took me so long. I finally said, that's good enough. Finished is better than perfect. But anyway, then the brown little lines, those are the cross boards that hold the pickets on the gate. So, and I did lighter brown, medium, dark brown. I did lighter grass, medium grass, dark grass. You do what you want. The one thing I would suggest, I kind of liked the one that y'all wanted me to do that looked like a gate but was really a city skyline. I love the fact that it was scrappy looking. because after doing that cow, I like not having to try to be perfect. That takes too much work and stress. So I wanted to make it scrappy. But what I found, you do it whatever way you want. But what I found is once I started the sky piece, use the same blue all the way down. Because see this sky piece? This and that are separate pieces. This quilt was kind of done in thirds. And that way I could get the top part like this, and I could do this with one bar across and this section with two horizontal bars. Probably a better and easier way to do it. This is what I could come up with. So every time I really seriously make a quilt like this, I think, I wish I had really learned how to use EQ8. But I told Mark, if I took the time to learn EQ8, then I wouldn't have done so many of the projects I've done, because you either take time and study or you just do. You learn as much as you have to really be able to do the bare minimum. And that's me. Hi, Miss Pat. It's good seeing you. Oh, Pat, that's too important, sweetheart. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let me do this because I'm going to be 65 soon. My memory isn't what it used to be. So I'm going to type in my mailing address. Please shoot me an email, because when I see them there, boom, I go right down the list and send them. But if I don't see them, I'm like, who said that again? So our time to quilt at twc.com. There. Send me an email and say, I want the pattern, and I will be glad to send it to you. Now, let me tell you, a couple months ago, I had to get a new computer, and I haven't transferred everything over yet, because that's another thing. To spend the time to properly transfer everything over, and some of the programs like my Adobe Photoshop, I don't remember the number. I don't know where to find the number. I still haven't transferred that over. That's something I used a lot. Don't want to buy a new program, but I haven't figured out what to do yet. So anyway, but that's another thing. If I took the time to get everything set up right, to learn everything, move it over, transfer it, I'd be behind on so many things. So what do? I do just enough to get me by and keep moving. Well, I'm sorry, Deb, but that's not a smart thing to do. I just noticed I had this little bead ring on my first finger, but it started turning purple. Thought I better take the bead ring off. Welcome to my Thursday night. But anyway, so here's your cover page. Okay, for those who don't have the pattern yet, here's the cover page. And I'm going to explain it all to you, so don't worry. Oh, what were we talking about? I hate that. I'll kind of sit and I'll start to say something to Mark. Well, it doesn't help, too, that I didn't fall asleep until almost 3 o'clock. It was somewhere between 2:30 and 3 a.m. Knowing I had to get up at 8:30 to go meet my daughter. So I don't know what I'm doing right now. Then the second page is a page where I numbered sections. I want this to be so easy for you. And I suggest that when you're working on it, you either use Post-it notes or just a good old piece of masking tape. Write on there, like section 1, write 1, section 2, write 2. Tear them off a little piece and put it on that piece of fabric. Because otherwise it could be a little bit confusing. So here, another thing I'm going to add to the package, and when I send the flowers and the hand-drawn botanicals, I'll also send you one of these that has no color in it. So you can take the time, if you wish, to use crayons or colored pencils and try out different ideas of coloring, okay? So So anyway, but this has all the numbers. Now down at the bottom, there's numbers on the dark green. They're a little tricky to see. And then, of course, I wrote border. And then I tried to write instructions on every page. This quilt pattern has not been tested. So I am not going to promise that I didn't make any mistakes. I figured we'll be doing it together, so we'll learn together if there are any boo-boos. But anyway, so that you get that one. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to take, and I've numbered the pages. This is a page messed up on this, but there's a page number. Unfortunately, I adjusted it and the page for the next page came up on this one. I'm sorry, but you'll kind of get the drift. And if you'll see here that this pattern piece, and it's not a template. There are 2 pages of template. This is not a template. This is a rotary cutting instruction. And do you see here? It tells you how long to make the strip and how wide to make the strip and how many you need of that. But remember this. This one piece will be used in section 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And so you go, what? That means it's the sky piece up here. It'll be 1, 3, 5. It is only from this line up. Whoops, this line up. But you can see the narrow piece. It's 1.5 by 11 and almost a half. Yeah, 11. Yeah, 11.5 by 1.5. I didn't want this quilt to be too big. So I worked hard to bring it down to a convenient wall hanging size. And I hope that's okay. But if you want to enlarge yours, then just jot notes for everything and then you'll know how big it'll get. So, okay. Oh, don't you hate? I know. What is that about? This staying up late. Okay. So now you see the numbers and understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use different blues along here because understand something. When you make this quilt, the flowers that are in front are going to be the stars. The gate, that's a bit player. The background is just there. So don't go too crazy over angsting over the fabrics that you're going to put where. If you don't want it scrappy, that's okay. You can use one green and one blue. But if you want to just use up a little bit of this and that and kind of go for that scrappy, then go for it. And just know that you have to decide ahead and mark it. So even though they're all the same piece, if you have it scrappy, go ahead and mark where you want your colors to go. Because like I said before, I found that if I did the sky scrappy, you couldn't tell it was a gate. Okay? So trust me. So by having the same color in the first section and in the second section, it helped make sure you could tell it was a gate. Okay? Now making it a different color than white could make you know that it's a gate. Using a touch darker sky pieces would help you identify the gate pickets. But anyway, so then, okay, we're just going to walk through each step because that way, if you feel a little more friendly towards it, you're more likely to do it, okay? Now, this one is, you know what, I just need to leave this out instead of, I keep putting it away. All right. When you get into the pattern pieces that have these gate pickets on them or that have the sunshine on them, they are unique, okay? And so here you have, this will even say on here, oops, it's at the bottom of the page before it, because I tried I knew this was going to eat up a lot of paper. So I tried shrinking things and fitting things in. Okay, so section 2. The angle's a little weird. If you can figure out 66 degrees, make it whatever angle. What I did when I was designing the pattern, I tried to have the gate pickets not be perfect because I wanted it to look like a country gate, but close enough that it was, an up and down thing. And so if any of you have ever designed on EQ8, each piece was a different graph. And it's real hard to get everything exactly where it'll line up once it's spaced. If I didn't have the sky in between, it would have been easier. But then it wouldn't have been as cute. So, you got to do what you got to do. So section 2, I kind of started listing it. Piece A, okay? Piece A, I'll show you piece A. That's the big one. That's going to be a sky blue color. Then piece B is the first top of the picket on the left-hand side. So use a lightweight fabric for that. And you can angle it whichever way you want. But it kind of says on here, don't let this part scare you. 66 degrees, oh my gosh. Just go in there, cut them at the same time so you know that the angle's right and don't worry about it. All right. Now, and there's something to be said. They don't even have to be perfect because they're not going to meet. This is going to be, for the most part, a glue down, at least at first, a glue down quilt, depending on if that's how you want to make it. Because I like to give you lots of choices. And then you'll see section 6, and you'll say, well, wait a minute, section 4, section 6, because remember, there's a sky section in between each top picket. So you're going to think, wait a minute, this is just refer to the numbers. And see, now the picket's a little bit taller. So you've got a bigger piece of white, a smaller piece of sky blue. Okay? And it'll tell you down here exactly how big to make it. Now this one, see, and it'll tell this top one that's for the blue fabric, the sky fabric. That's how big you make it. Then for the white fabric, that's how big you make it, right there. And if you can figure out how to lay them on top of each other so when you do the angle, they're ready to cut to, well, actually, you're not going to sew them together, but you're ready to glue them near each other. Now, these patterns have the seam allowance built in, but we are not like the 1.5. Really, the sky part that shows, I was thinking to be 1 because it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Here's the next one in that series. See how now the picket's getting bigger, taller, and the sky's getting shorter. And then here's the next one below that. And just keeping things marked. Masking tape, Post-it notes, put it in its own baggie. Doesn't matter, just keep it marked. All right, now this is this one. Okay, see how this picket goes that angle? That's the top picket. Then this one goes the other angle. See? One goes this way, the other one goes that way. So keep your eyes open for that. And I even put it here. Angle changes because now the pickets, it goes up, 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 and then down, 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 down. So if you just pay attention to these little things, it should be relatively easy. And I will include a colorable thing. So now we're getting to where we've almost finished the pickets. That's the next to the last picket on the right-hand side of that gate. Let me show you that again. So we went up, 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 Then we started coming down, 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 down. Okay, so that what I just showed you was this one. All right, now something happens next. Before you do that one, okay, section 15 template. Oh. Okay, that was 14. Section 15, I did templates to try to make it easier on y'all. And instead of cutting measurements and size, if you see 15, it's got the sun rays coming out forward. Now, so what I did, and this should be the right size, because the first sun rays is a narrow 1.5 by 11.5 piece. See how narrow it is? Okay. So these should be the right size, but I haven't made it yet, and I'm hoping here is how I designed it. A, B, C, D, H, E, F, E. I don't know why they chose, not me. And then here are the pieces. There is, that one is the sky, and half of these are sun yellow, half of these are sky blue. With this piece number 15, I recommend you keep the sky, all those pieces the same, and the yellows the same. You can do it differently if you want, but when I was designing it, I noticed that if the sky, especially if that sky changed, you were like, what? You kind of lost what it was about, okay? And like I said, if you don't want to put a sun in, you don't do it. So then, all right, hold on. I want to make sure I get this right. Okay. And, the page here, when you get the templates, I give you the information. See? I write it out, and then I list all of the pieces and tell you what color. One of the crazy things on here is the E piece. It happens to be the very same piece, the very same measurement and shape. So, piece E, which is right here. Whoops, let me let it come in. See piece E? You have to cut 2 of those, okay? 2 of them. And so I put on here that you cut 2 E yellows, okay? And if you'll see right here, the E is that one and that one. And they're the same shape, and they're the yellow rays coming out. So, all right. Now you got that one. Now, the next one is also templates because there's all those pieces. Now, this was a design mistake to have that line right through there. So if you want to make it one piece, that second rectangle down, if you want to make that all one piece, you go for it. And here is the template section 16 for that. Remember, this is the wider one. So this one is, did I make, hold on, I think it's 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. 2.5 inches wide, because this is the one over the picket. And on the bottom here is a piece of picket, so that'll be white. And in fact, I'm trying to think I think I wrote on everything. G, yeah, this I wrote the colors. Here, G, I wrote white, okay, because that's the picket. Then all of the others I wrote blue or yellow on all of those, okay? So each is marked. Even if it's just a B, that's blue. B, that's blue. If you see something that's just a Y, that's yellow. So there's all the different pieces. Now, don't worry that you have to sew them together, because you don't. Don't worry. Now, if you want to, you can. But so that was this section 16 right there. Now, the last one that's a little tricky is 17, and that's easy. Because let me show you what I did to 17. Try to break things down into just steps. There is 17. So that's where there's more of just plain straight sun. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, does Linda come on here? Oh, I'm sorry. Does Linda belong to our group? No. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll definitely be thinking of her. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. All right. Thank you, Kathleen. All right. So this is A is sun, B is sky. And then it just tells you what size strip to make of that. So this is a really scrap-friendly quilt. You should just be able to pick out some junk and out of your stash. Now this is the first one that goes down in the second section. And this is going to be much easier. Those last three pieces were tricky. Remember, this is the piece of wood that all the pickets are nailed to. Sky above, starting the grass. Okay? And that one little picket, you make it, that one I just showed you does 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, and 34. All right? Because if you look at the picture, all of the skinny ones in this row are the same kind of piecing, okay? Which is sky above, piece of wood to hold the pickets, and the grass. So that's this middle section right here, okay? Now, the good news that's even easier is the fence pickets in that section. Whoops, here it is. Here it is, A. And that's for section 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 31, 33. It's just a 2.5 by 11.5 rectangle of the same white for all of them. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So that's easy. Then that then takes care of the second row. Oh, sweetie. Aw. What a sweetheart she is. Now we're down to the bottom section of the gate, garden gate. This is section 35, 37, 39, 41, 43, 45, 47, 49, and 51. And it tells you, let me see, there are 2 A pieces. I should have caught this before I printed it. See those 2 A pieces? The top one is green. The next A piece is brown. See right there? The brown for the piece of wood that holds the pickets in place, and the rest are green pieces for the grass. So I have made sure to highlight that and show you. Okay? All right, and even down here when you're cutting it, it shows one of those little A pieces is green, one's brown. All right. Then the last thing you have to do for that section is go back to what you did before and make a bunch of, using this time a darker, if you want, you can make them all the same color, but I thought it might be fun to go lightest, then a little bit darker, then a little bit darker, trying to show shadows. And so that's that one. Now, here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So as you see, for most of 2 sections of the quilt, you're cutting the same shape, and for the pickets, the same fabric. The whole bottom row, you just take that color and cut 2.5 by 11.5 inch rectangles. So now what we have to talk about. This, I totally leave up to you. Do not cut your fabric until you've made this decision, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been wanting to do a stained glass quilt, which means if you want to do this stained glass, every line on here, you're going to have some grout and space for grout. Now, the cool thing is, what we're going to do is if you do a stained glass like I'm going to do, we're going to just glue these pieces down with the dot of glue, and then when we've got everything in its place on the foundation, then we're going to come in and just stitch around the shapes with our sewing machine just to make sure it's really down and good. And I think that could be fun. So this is my theory. I decided if I'm going to do stained glass, I really want it to show. But I was tempted. There were some ideas of using white grout or white caning around the stained glass. There was also, people used a silvery. I mean, you could use brass. You could use whatever color you wanted around the stained glass. I'm going to do a black. But now I'm thinking a gray, charcoal gray might be wonderful. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't decided. I might get my charcoal gray, but I'm going to get a yard of fabric and I'm going to starch it really good. On the back of it, I'm going to iron some fusible interfacing. Give it a little body, okay? Give it a little body. Then what I'm thinking, I'll use that as the foundation, because if I put the pieces on and leave little spaces between all of the pieces, it's going to look like stained glass. And how much easier is that than buying? Now, if you have some of the bias tape, the black bias, they call it caning look, so that you can make the stained glass. If you have some of that and want to use it, great. But that stuff is like $11, $12 a spool, and you'll use the whole one. I think pretty easily. So I think that if I take and cut the pieces out and trim half of each one's seam allowance off, then when I put the pieces on, it'll leave that sliver that makes it look like stained glass. What do you think? I was going to try to see if I couldn't get some of it done tonight, but I just didn't have time. I'm trying. I really am. But anyway, so there is a neat woman, and if you want her, she teaches classes. Sometimes they're free. Most of the time you sign up, you pay a class fee, but she's good. And she will teach you how, every step of the way, how to learn how to EQ. So if you want her information, send me an email to ourtimetoquilt@twc.com, and I will forward you one of her emails. Because let me see if I can pull up, because, it's a shame to have a computer system that will make your life so much easier, but not be able to, come on. Okay, there we go. Sometimes I have to be really rude to my mouse or it won't act right. All right, I should be able to get to this pretty easy because I have a special folder. Okay, she's called On Point Quilter. I'm going to save this into our photos. So, you know what? I'm going to copy her information and put it right down here. But she does virtual teaching, and she's excellent. I mean, she's so smart, but she really helps you understand. There she is, Carrie Shell, On Point Quilter. She's wonderful. And I know that I kind of got to know her because she would do these free classes years ago, and I started joining in on them. She's wonderful. We'll just have Deb do it for us. And for some of y'all who wanted to do the mosaics, we're going to do a mosaic koi, and I have to design that next. First I thought, well, I've got a free pattern for that gate until I realized it wasn't a gate, and it was no way to make it look like a gate. I went, oh, darn. And I thought we would use that pattern, and then I'd make us one for the mosaic. Didn't work that way. But now on your gate quilt, there's all kinds of ways to have fun. We're going to make the basic, okay? I say basic, and it's 14 pages, but that's mostly just to explain it. We're going to make the background. And then we are going to make the flowers and the stems, and we're going to put whatever your stained glass color is behind it, okay? And have it just stick out a little bit, and then they're going to lay on top of the base. Instead of trying to figure out how to cut, no, we're just going to lay it on top. As long as you put, like let's say you had a leaf. Well, you just take the green that you cut out, touch it with a little bit of glue or fuse it to a piece. Let's say if you're going to use black for your stained glass, glue it to a piece of black and cut out with just enough line around the leaf so it looks like stained glass. Then you take a little touch of glue and you put it where you want on your gate background. Then we'll just stitch it down with a regular straight stitch, unless you want to do a decorative stitch or a blanket stitch or whatever. So is this making any sense to you? I'm trying to do this easy and fun. I want this to be as close to cutting out and gluing as when you were in kindergarten, but you can't eat the glue. Not here. And you can put a little bit on your hand, let it dry, and peel it off. But we're just going to play. And it's going to be more about putting together a composition and getting free with flowers and different. I'm thinking a vine on the fence might be awesome. Maybe I'll do a clematis vine. Who knows? So, anyway, so there we go. Now, so my thought is this. Let me get a little bit scraps of fabric. All right. My thought is, let me cut. Oh, I hate to cut into this fabric, but my thought, let me see if I've got one close to this. But if we put the fabric on and we leave a little space, then that'll give us, see, I'm trying to cover it so you don't pay attention that it's such a thick piece of fabric, but that will give us the stained glass look. Then you add a piece of sky blue. That little black that shows through, and this will only be one layer of fabric, so it's not going to be a big indentation. But that is going, by having it here, that's going to give us the look of stained glass. And what's going to help make this possible is getting yourself a nice medium light gray thread, because when you go to do the final stitch down, it's going to virtually blend in with whatever fabric. Let me show you. Here is a medium green. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't eat the glue, but I did like to peel it off my hand. But you see how if you use gray thread, it will pretty much blend in. Look at that. It blends in with everything. So you just need a medium to light gray, not too light. Now, won't that make it the black dark behind the white and light blue? That's a good point. And we need to see if that's going to change it very much. And if it does, there's something we can do with that. like putting this on the black. We can either go in later and cut out behind it, or I don't know if it we'll have to see if it shows. But otherwise, you can take an iron interfacing to this that will help keep it from showing through. Does that make sense? So, and then you might not want to use your paper thin fabrics, but let's see how this one does. And that might be a good reason for me to use the gray. Now here, okay, where it's double, yeah, look at the difference in that and then one layer. And yeah, it looks different. But if all of it is kind of the same thing, I'm not sure it matters. You know what I'm trying to say? If you don't have any that's double layer, you're not going to notice that this is just going to be how it looks. So that's what we're going to work on. But if you want your color to be pure and not have any black bleed through, you can always use a lighter color, like a gray. You could always put fusible interfacing on or make the pieces 2 layers thick, but I hate you to, nah, you don't want to make it 2 layers thick. Fusible interfacing would help because it fuses on, it makes one piece. There's no way to make 2 pieces of fabric behave as one. So, but anyway, I'm thinking now, I'm honestly thinking, first I wanted black. I wanted to really show that it was stained glass, but now I'm kind of thinking about seeing, I'm pretty sure I have some gray over there, so I will check. But you need about 1 yard of that because the finished size on this, and you don't have to have it where the border is. The finished size is 28 by 35. So, and that includes the border. And you can pick out whatever color for the border you want. I'm not even going to pick out my border until I've made it, see which one I think works. But 1 yard would do more than enough. Actually, a half a yard if you can get 36 inches off of one side. No, a little bit more than a half. I'm sorry. Never mind. 1 yard. So whether it's 1 yard of gray, whether it's 1 yard of silver, 1 yard of black, 1 yard of white, because you can use white if it contrasts enough with your gate. Okay. And if you want to put a handle on your gate or a bell on your gate or a bird, oh my gosh, I just thought of that. I would love to put a bird sitting on top of the picket. And you know who's good at birds? Let's go look at your artwork because I'm going to show you what Miss Dolores, she made gorgeous birds. All right, so be working, picking out. I will send you tonight. I will send you the pattern and the pattern extra pages, including one without color so you can color it in and give it, that's the time to play with it. I've learned don't do coloring by picking out the actual fabric because then you'll be brokenhearted to waste the fabric because you'll say, this looks stupid. So I just want to show you one more time my lovely Gerber daisy. I tell you what, I'm going to tell you a secret. I got out there and I found walking on uneven ground is something I hadn't done in a year. That was tricky. Then I tried to write a check for my plant purchase. I couldn't seem to write a check. My daughter said, Mom, this is normal. When I first had to go back out to teach, you get a brain fog. And she said that gets better the more you get back out in the world. I was overwhelmed. People around me not knowing what to do, it was overwhelming. And I thought, okay, this is normal. It's not because you're almost 65. It's normal. So if some of you are like me, we're just starting to venture back out in the world, okay. So, and get those vaccinations. I've got one more coming up, and then, yay, I'll get to go see my grandbaby. So please get the vaccinations. If we all get them, then we can beat this, and we can go back to a normal life. So we're very lucky. All right, that was just light showing on it. Let's look at your photos. Yeah, Myers only takes checks or cash. They don't take the credit card. And that's always, but that's part of the charm, I think, don't you? And all right, here we go. Oh, I know what I want to show you. We had the people come by yesterday to, we had the people come by yesterday and put down pine straw. Now I call it pine straw. Some people call it pine needles. But let me see if I can show you. Hold on. I'm going to show you a couple photos of that. Oh, come on. All right, come on. I'm having a few little, see, I'm not good with all this stuff. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. But I said, my yard looks so beautiful, and that will last all of not even a month. But isn't that pretty? Mark had put down fertilizer and lime, and then we had paid a company to come and put down the pine straw. Oops, not that one. Here we go. Go this way. And it, whoops. Now, I told you I'm not any good at this stuff, but it looks so pretty. So I'm showing y'all because sadly, whoops. Oh, well, now I can't get it to go to the next one. But that won't last that long. So at least I can show you for right now. Because the weeds will find their way through it and the grass will be stressed from the heat and you know how it goes. All righty. So now we know the garden gate. Here's Miss Alexis's. I found two of her embroidery works, which I just love her talent and her. This woman is meticulous. She is so careful and thoughtful about her work. So way to go. Okay, now well, I found it's easier to go this way. And then here are her hundreds of French knots. That is patience. I love that. So way to go, Miss Alexis. You do very good work. Okay, let's go back. I'm just tonight looking to show you art quilt type work. Okay, on Sundays I show everything. This is what I got back from Miss Betty Middleton. I am so proud of her. You do not know. She has been so good at emailing me saying, can you give me some hints, whatever. She's so eager to learn, and she just absorbs anything you tell her. And oh my gosh, her flowers down here are beautiful. I love it. She's got two wooden gate sections on her stone wall. Look how she's come in here and put like a ledge cap on her stone wall. She has just done a beautiful, beautiful job. Look at all the little flowers she's scattered around. That is just a work of art. So way to go, Miss Betty. And you know, I was very impressed with her nighttime landscape. Beautiful work. So thank you, Miss Betty. You are a talented lady. Now let me see who else. I was going to first send y'all this and say, I promise I'm working on it. I had problems with the computer. I had problems with the printer. I had problems with the program. This is one way I hang my quilts. I just thought I'd show you. I get a sturdy curtain rod and easy to squeeze little hooks on rings, and that way you can hang up whatever you want. All right, I think that's all for tonight that I'm going to show you on that part. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Now, you don't even need to see that because I gave you all the good parts. All right, let's look at Deborah Donnell. I am so tickled because, you know, she had spine surgery recently, back surgery, and she's back to work. She's taking it easy, doing better each day. I'm just so happy for her and so proud of her. And she's working on Oh, this is one of those 99 block quilts, and she's gotten 22 of them done. I'm so proud of her. Miss Dolores. Okay, you get ready. I'm going to first show you her mountain meadow landscape, and she said she's been working on it, but she hasn't had a moment to take pictures. But now, are you ready to see something? She's been working on these for her brother-in-law who's in the hospital. When he sees these, do you know the inspiration that he's going to feel from this? When I was in the hospital with my surgery, my daughter had knitted me a kidney for the one I was getting ready to lose. And I clung to that during the times when I was hurting or not feeling good. That thing comforted me. This will give him the same comfort. But look at these birds. Look how realistic. I mean, this bird right here, you almost expect it to make a little chirping sound. The little feet, gorgeous, gorgeous work. Miss Dolores, if I could ever do something half that pretty, I would be thrilled. So way to go. Now there's one more to show you. She's going to let her brother-in-law decide which one of these he would like to have. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Very talented, talented woman. That's our Dolores. We're so lucky to have her in this group. All right, now let's see who is next. Miss Jody, always have to show Miss Jody's because these are just in my Hall of Fame. They are so wonderful. Okay, let's see. Is it Linda McCollum? And I saved two of her little things. I just think this is so pretty. She loves making these. And they're pretty, and she's got ready-made gifts. And here is her landscape, which is just beautiful. I didn't see Linda tonight. I hope she's feeling okay, but she'll know if she watches this later that we miss her. And I still have Marcia's green little pouch that she crocheted, so I've got to show that too. And we love our Miss Marcia. And then let me see. Is there anybody else? We might have come to the end of the line with the art quilts. I'll show you a couple pictures. Miss Pat's been very busy with, I always forget whether this is Thatcher or Xander, but she took him to the aquarium, and what a cutie pie. All right. I love these cartoon things. They're so cute. So I'll show that. It's not art quilting, but it is the fun stuff in life. And these aren't necessarily art quilts, but Miss Polly's here, and I love to brag on her. Look at the beautiful, that gold color. That reminds me of like Connecticut or, the colonial. So beautiful. And that quilt is just lovely sitting there. And then look at this one. Isn't that beautiful? All yellow and blue. So got to brag on Miss Polly because I think that she has got a lot of talent for a new quilter, and I can't wait to see what else she'll do. So, all right. Whoops. Knocked something over. Have no idea what it was. So let me bring this back around. And okay. Linda's been here from the start. Oh, good. I didn't see you, and I was worried. I think I might have said your name early on, too. Told you. I tell you, I don't get enough sleep, and I'm just dumb as dirt. So, anyway, I am so, so proud of all of you guys, and this has been a lot of fun. And what I might do is maybe when I start working, if I get a day to start working on this, I've got to make a decision about my Medicare. I mean, I'm down now to a month from tonight. I got to make a decision and just choose it. I'm so afraid of making a wrong decision. It's like, oh gosh. So, because I'm going on Medicare, but I want to pick the right company to do the secondary one. So have a wonderful week, Miss Kathleen Ziegler. So good seeing you. And Betty Middleton is here. So anyway, I'm thinking I might do a goldfinch on my garden gate. Might have to get a lot of advice and help from Dolores. And I might make another lace butterfly. You know how I do the lace on the water soluble? So we'll cover that again. But I think this is going to be fun. For some of y'all who really want to do the mosaics, I'm going to try to have those done. I'll get them done this weekend. And as soon as I get those patterns done, I'm going to send it probably out to all of you. If you don't want it, just delete it. That's fine. But I just want anybody who wants it to be able to have it. So, I motivate myself. I told Mark, I said, if it weren't for this group, I think I'd be a slug doing nothing. Y'all keep me moving and happy, and I can't thank you enough. Any questions, guys? Any questions? I'm so glad, Linda, that you're feeling good. So glad, and you're here. We would miss all of you. Y'all are my favorite peeps. So, all right. Well, if I get a chance to work on this pretty good, I'll do a quick little video or something, or take pictures, put them on our site. And if anyone does not belong to our site that I'm seeing your name and you're talking to us, please send me an email. I'm going to write my email address real quick here, just so that you'll know it. And if you have questions, you can email me. If you want a pattern, please email me. If you'd like to join our group's IO, because that way we can ask any questions we want. I can put pictures over there and we can keep up. Have a great weekend. I can't believe it's April and spring is bursting out all over. It's like everything's getting that wonderful apple green look to it. It just gets me so excited. So I was so happy. I've got a tray and a half of some early things, but I'm going to have to watch the weather because I don't want the late frost to come nip it. So have a great weekend. Tell those that you love how you feel. Because I tell you what, we're really lucky. It looks like we're going to get through this pandemic. And I got lots of love that I got to spread out there among my family. I can't wait to give them all hugs. Who knew that getting a chance to hug someone would be so important? So take good care. Get your vaccinations if you haven't. If you have, you've got my love forever. You're my best friend. And I'll see y'all with this next Thursday, unless I put out some little hints along the way. And Sunday, who knows? I might have something to show you Sunday. So, and the koi mosaic is coming. And tonight I will send anybody who wants, if you haven't emailed me about getting a pattern for this garden gate, email me. And I will send everybody those extra 3 pages. So have fun. Get your colored pencils or your crayons out and have a little fun figuring out just how you want to do this. Okay? Y'all take good care. Cheryl, it's so good seeing you. All of you. Angela, Adele, how nice to have you here. So y'all take good care. Bye-bye, guys. I think Mark's making me hot dogs and beans. So I'm going to go up and see. He asked what I wanted tonight. I said, I want beanie weenies. So, and then he's going to make Brussels sprouts, our newest favorite vegetable. Love it. Get them frozen, and they're so good. Take good care. You're all so special. You are the best. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye-bye, everybody.